So we know what this potentially means for Kenny Pickett and what this means as far as his playability goes and his type of QBing goes. But now we get to focus on our first draft pick the year before him and what this could mean and how this could benefit Najee Harris in this type of offense. What is going on, everybody? I am Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link is in the box below. So, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that the main reason that we made this hire, it's not because, it's not because to get a lot of controversy in Pittsburgh, even though there is a ton of controversy in Pittsburgh. That's not the main reason for it. It's because if you're out there looking for a new offensive coordinator, it's that you really do feel like that he is the right guy and he is legitimately the guy that can help every aspect of this offense. And hey, you guys know how I feel about the hire, okay? I'm smack in the middle of it. I don't love it, but I certainly don't hate it. I just think they could have done better, but that doesn't mean that this hiring doesn't come with positives. And I think the biggest positive that this can come with, whether or not it's relevant in today's league or not, is how it benefits Najee Harris. Because let's face it, guys, since day one, when Najee Harris was drafted in the first round out of Alabama, kind of like another running back that Arthur Smith had in his offense years back from the same school, in Derrick Henry. Let's face it, ever since this kid came on over to Pittsburgh, it's been all about him. And Mike Tomlin has made that clear in every press conference, every post-game conference, every game plan. It's always been about Najee Harris. Even when Jaylen Warren is going out there with the explosion that he has, the big chunk plays that he has, leading the team in rushing, even when we're getting the ball out to Connor Hayward, pounding it through up there, using the old school fullbacks, it's always been about Najee Harris. Kind of like how the Steelers of the 70s, the offense, it was all about Franco Harris. Just like in the 90s and some of the 2000s, it was all about the bus. The Killer Bees. Le'Veon Bell was a vital aspect to the offense. It's all about Najee Harris. I don't want to say that he's the heartbeat of the offense, because that would imply that without him, this offense would be completely dry, which I don't know how much more dry it can be. Like, if it got any more dry, there'd be a drought in the fountain of youth. Okay? But I want to say that he's the engine that conducts this offense. When we're out, when the Steelers are out on the field, whether it's Kenny Pickett going out there looking like baby hands Alex Smith, whether it's George Pickens going out there making these impossible highlight reel catches, whether it's Pat Freiermuth getting incorporated with the tight end screens, guess what, guys? It's always been about Najee Harris and his contributions to this offense. And with how he was improving his play down the final stretches of this past season, and how he was starting to look like the number one pick that we anticipated him to be, I think this gives him a new lease on life when it comes to his contributions for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that's the biggest reason that why Arthur Smith is here. People have said this in my videos about Arthur Smith already, and yes, I do agree this is a Mike Tomlin hire Because who's Mike Tomlin's number one priority on offense? Even though Mike Tomlin calls the shots on defense, it's Najee Harris. But this is why Arthur Smith is here. Here's the thing. Whether you like it or not, whether you do need at least a quality quarterback to succeed in today's league, guess what? We do have that in Mason Rudolph. All right? But guess what else you need to do? You need to keep your opponent off the field for as long as possible. And that's the type of offense that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been striving for the better part of the last 3 years. Pretty much ever since, I would say, 2021 in Big Ben's last season. You need to keep your opponents off the field, and you need to keep control of time of possession and the yardage and eat up as much of the clock as possible. You're not going to do that by throwing the ball 55, or you're not even going to do that throwing the ball 35 times when you're trailing in the game and have your QB throw for 300 yards every single game. You need to bleed out the clock, and you need to be able to keep, especially teams like Kansas City, teams like Buffalo, teams like Cincinnati, teams like Baltimore, teams like Jacksonville, teams like Houston, teams like Miami. You got to be able to keep those offenses off the field. And guess how you're going to do that? You're going to do that by running the ball. And I think with Najee's running ability, the type of runner that he is, where he's not explosive, he's not going to get a 50-yard run up the gut every single play. That's not who he is. He's a downhill physical runner, plowing right through defenses, bullying them all the way through. And that is what Arthur Smith's offense is all about. And I think that's the reason that he's here. And I think that's the biggest benefactor for Najee Harris. Again, just another take of mine because, hey, my opinion on the hire doesn't matter. Your opinion on the hire doesn't matter. All I can do is sit down here and just give you general observations. Let me know what you think down in the comments below about this. And I am Mac, checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.